Hey everybody, it is Killian Nitro from Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, and this is my take on NXT Takeover Toronto, which took place on Sunday, August 10th, 2019 from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now, this is the first of a mega marathon recording session for me tonight, post SummerSlam. So I'm doing this, I'm doing stuff for SummerSlam, and then if I got time for it, I'm going to be voicing and recording the set, or the Nitro take, I should say, for ECW Heatwave 1999 as well, which is the event that you guys voted on my Twitter as well. Fingers crossed. Here's hoping we get to everything. I might get to like 2. If 2 out of 3 goes, then 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But anyway. Spoiler alert, dark matches and results imminent. So if you don't want to be spoiled for this week's NXT episode on Wednesday, fast forward through this bit. Breezango, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango took on the Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. Breezango got the win. I think this is great that Breezango is being used now heavily in NXT. I expect them maybe getting an NXT tag title shot somewhere down the line, but they got to be as a face team. I don't think they can be heels in NXT. I think they're going to be the face team going forward. So good on them. And in the finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament, Jordan Myles, FKA ACH, took on Cameron Grimes, FKA Trevor Lee, and Jordan Myles defeated Cameron Grimes. So, you know, all in all, a great idea. I'd love to see this tournament get a little bit more traction, though. Maybe not in such a busy part of the year for NXT, like the summer is and that stuff. This looks like an awesome thing to do during the fall, and have it wrap up during the Survivor Series thing. Maybe flip-flop the Dusty Classic with this, and you'd have yourselves a heck of a little double tournament thing happening in NXT. Alright, on to the main show, and Slipknot opening everything with their new track. Great, awesome video put together by WWE, and it's a great track. I'm going to go download it. There's a couple of songs from this weekend I'm definitely going to download on iTunes and check them out for sure. NXT Tag Titles, Street Profits taking on the Undisputed Era, which is Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, the big talk was, will the Undisputed Era walk out of this takeover pretty much draped in gold? They had people going for the tag titles, they had people going for the North American belt, and of course Adam Cole is already your NXT champion, so they were trying to go free for free in title matches. Well, did they? Some small notes out of this match that I noticed. Montez Ford of the Street Profits has a money dropkick. It's probably top 5. I don't want to say it's Okada-esque, but it's up there. It's one of the top 5 dropkicks in wrestling today. If Bobby Fish had any ring rust after being off with the knee problems, that's over and done with. Dude is crisp in the ring, and it shows. This match showcased Montez Ford. He's such a super athlete, and Angelo Dawkins has some unique offense, as he is kind of the real more unique character of the pairing of the Street Profits, as we've seen not only through Monday Night Raws and that stuff, but even tonight during the SummerSlam pay-per-view, of course. But this is NXT TakeOver, so Street Profits, they looked crisp, good, and the Profits eventually retain one heck of an opener. The length of the match itself ran 16:55, and it was a quality 16:55. You know, I thought it was just, they probably were aiming for 15 minutes, and maybe they were like a minute out or something, so, you know, good on them. Alright, next match, Io Shirai taking on Candice LeRae. This, of course, is the brand new heel bad guy persona for Io Shirai after betraying her friend Candice LeRae earlier on in the summer, after the title opportunity that Io had at Shayna Baszler in the cage. You know, we had a heel turn off of that. And I dig this new heel. She reminds me of a Tarantino villain from like Pulp Fiction or from Kill Bill or something. Maybe more like from the Kill Bill universe than Pulp Fiction, but you get what I'm saying. Early on in the match, Candice LeRae, she gets hit with what I deemed a oh my god type suplex on the desk. It just was a real ugly one. Go back to the video and check that one out if you haven't seen it. Io just crushing Candice early on, but Candice battles back. Great back and forth encounter by both athletes, but it was Io getting the win via submission. A great grudge match. The length on that match itself went 15 minutes even, so he's, you know, very crisp. I look forward to seeing more of the heel Io Shirai persona. I think this is a persona they could potentially throw the belt on a little bit later on. And I think that this isn't the last of this Candice LeRae Io Shirai feud. I think we'll see that generate as the weeks and months decide to I guess expand. Maybe Io Shirai becomes a female member of the Undisputed Era too. That's a chin scratcher, isn't it? Or we start to see the setup for the triple threat for the North American Championship, but then all of a sudden, Matt Riddle comes out of the back, just screaming out a challenge for Killian Dane. Dane accepts, and it's a pull-apart street fight with what ended up being a ton of local talent from here acting as security guards, a kind of a crossover between Ontario indie talent and Alberta indie talent. Most notably Sheik Akbar Shabazz, Michael Allen Richard Clark, and Michael Richard Blaze from the PWA being involved in this pull-apart. I think the three of them were down there for WWE tryouts, so best of luck to all three of them this weekend, just to see what would happen with them coming down the pipes from Western Canada. So 3 names to pay attention to going forward. Between Killian Dane and Matt Riddle, that ended in the engineering pit at the base of the stage after Riddle just does a flying crossbody dive right into Killian and wipes them both out. So obviously building towards a big match at the next Takeover. Watch for that to happen, and I think it'll be a very entertaining one for sure, most definitely. Austin Theory in the house, the current Evolve champion, and of course we did a Nitro's take on the big Evolve special on the channel. Go check it out earlier on in the summer. It's in the previously viewed videos, and it is well liked, so go check it out. So North American title was up next, where you had the challengers Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong taking on the champion Velveteen Dream. It was kind of a weird segment where it opened up with the Quebecers theme, but no, it was the Toronto Raptors street dance team kind of welcoming everybody to the show and to the T-Dot for the weekend. Kind of a weird morph. And then we saw the Velveteen Dream walk out dressed as a Mountie, so he obviously was aware of, he was trying to bank on the hometown, or not, his, I guess, for the evening, adopted hometown, if it will, of Toronto, and I guess all the Canadians, and he pretty much said that, hey, I'll be your hero in Canada, everybody. So I actually did love the entrance, though. I thought it was very funny and very comical. He goes over the top of those entrances at every takeover, and just every time, it's amazing. I saw this on Twitter, but I have to kind of agree with it that the Velveteen Dream kind of has a Rock-esque type presence with the crowd. I think it's very noteworthy, and there's a lot of electricity to him. You hope that there's another wrestling boom soon, because that guy could potentially be maybe the next crossover star to break out of WWE and into like movies and stuff like that. He's got the baseline. It's just building it up. He's Rock in 1996, 1997 right now. And yes, Mauro Ranallo, it was way too soon with the Kawhi reference. We know he's gone to LA. He's happy. Don't rub it in, bro. I appreciate it. No, he's still the best, but Undisputed Era, of course, 0 for 1 so far tonight. Do they go 1 for 2 here? That was the question going in with Roderick Strong. It was awesome seeing Dunne get a crack at a non-NXT UK title here. They're finally starting to use him towards getting just a more kind of main roster, if you will, NXT title chances and such. Looking early on in the match, the flying armbar that Dunne did on the Velveteen Dream early on was crazy. There was a great pop for Velveteen Dream with the sharpshooter. A lot of humorous spots in this match. If you go back and take a look at it, I counted about 4 or 5 kind of real funny, humorous spots. It was an awesome mix between 3 very opposite personas. There was a double stronghold submission attempt. Roddy, he still has it, man. He's just on and on. Like, looks like the day that they plucked him right out of Ring of Honor back in the mid-2000s to go basically do almost job duty, unfortunately, on TNA. But he just is a great technician that gets better with age and that stuff. And with this group of Undisputed Era, it's just a perfect fit for him right now. I have down Dark Horse match of the night. I'll upgrade it to say that this was my match of the night on the card, even talking about the stuff that will happen a little later on. I felt that this match flowed beautifully, and I think this match should be considered at the end of the year as one of the top 10 NXT matches. Not the best NXT match of the year, Not by far, but this one I liked a lot. I thought it was match of the night for sure. There was an awesome near fall attempt where Dunn hit the bitter end, I think on Velveteen Dream, and got a really long 2 count, and the whole crowd just, oh, like that. They thought that for sure, that title was changing there, but it wasn't. And to finish, the Velveteen Dream poaches a pin off of a Roderick Strong backbreaker attempt on Pete Dunne to retain. It started with his own Dream Valley driver attempt on Dunne, but, you know, Roderick kind of came in and knocked Velveteen Dream out of the way, but then Dream just flies from the top rope in, breaks up the pin, and knocks Strong to the side and gets his own pin off of it. It was a wild and chaotic finish. I really liked that finish, that match. That was fun. Moving on, we had the NXT Women's Title match, Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler. Kind of get the feeling as if this could be the start of a long program between the two of them, and not so much this flavor of the month thing that Shayna's been kind of busting through most of 2019. The first time for me watching Mia during this current run of hers in NXT, I really dig her entrance and I dig the vibe. I still don't dig Shayna's music at all. It sounds like it's half done. And I think if you go back in some of the past NXT TakeOver Nitros takes that I've done, I've explained it pretty well, what I think about it. So no use in going back into it here. 2 Shimmer alums. Yes, that's right. 2 Shimmer women's athletes alumni. I'll be reviewing the Summit later on this week on the channel, which was a show that happened over SummerSlam weekend in Toronto, which kind of was a amalgamation of Shimmer, Rise, NCW Femme Fatales, I think, was involved. Smash Wrestling was involved with it. So about 4 or 5 companies getting involved in it, and a real all-star card. In fact, it seemed to be a bigger all-star card than it was than the Shimmer 113 card that I attended in person in New York. So looking forward to it. I got the download. It's on the computer for the show. I just haven't got around to watching it yet. So over the next few days, I'll get a chance to check it out. I'll let you know what I think. But anyway, back to the match. Shayna Baszler going for submission spots early on, and Yim getting out by using dirty tactics like eye rakes and pokes to the eye and stuff, and just it almost seems though. But then Baszler, in her heel persona during the match, started using the underhanded tactics as well. But then Baszler started going tit for tat with Mia with underhanded tactics, and so it was like a game of can you top this. The problem is, I think it really confused the crowd. I think it was one of the more contributing factors to why that crowd sounded really confused throughout that entire card. Just my thoughts on it. Yim towards the end of the match with a top rope avalanche, cold blue, shades of Tyson Kidd, Canadian proved, very nice, and she didn't go for a sharpshooter, so she was kind of thinking outside the box there, and going with one of Canada's lesser known wrestling talents, but still a very important one in Tyson Kidd. So I popped for that big time. Huge Tyson Kidd fan here. Baszler grabs a submission out of Yim's own armbar attempt to retain the belt. Baszler looked really vulnerable here in this match. Not the smoothest match, but had a great ending. The time limit again for that one, it was in the semifinal or semi-main spot on the card, 14:35. So again, another real tidy, maybe a match that they were shooting for 15 minutes or so. There you go. Saw the video. Walter versus Tyler Bate announced for August 31st in Cardiff for the UK title. That should be a good one. August 31st is going to be a crazy busy wrestling day, as you know, we have the NXT UK card. I believe there's a big New Japan card happening. I want to say either United States or Australia, one of the two. I have to look again and see where it is. I want to say US though with that one. I can't remember. And then on course we got AEW All Out, which is their big show of the year. I think that's going to be their version of WrestleMania probably, and just build out from there just because of the legacy. The second annual All In / All Out card. But it's happening on August 31st. So yeah, a lot of PVR usage that day and going back on the on-demand services. the Free Stages of Heck, as I called it, because everything is PG now, evidently. NXT title, Adam Cole, the champion, taking on Johnny Gargano, the challenger. Undisputed Era, of course, going 0-2 going into this one, and they could lose all the gold here if Cole loses this match. So much for people who were saying, hey, this is the night where Undisputed Era gets anointed as the kings of NXT. Didn't quite happen, though, did it? Crowd, though, firmly behind Adam Cole, a little bit more than Johnny Gargano. I think they started a match like that, and of course they always consider us here in Canada as a bizarro world, but I think that it itself might have started warm for Adam Cole, but it progressively, as the match gone on and on, got behind Gargano big time. So fall number 1 was Adam Cole's pick. They went to Adam Cole's pick, which he chose a normal match. Fall number 2 was a street fight, which was a Johnny Gargano pick. And then should the match go to free falls, which, spoiler alert, it did, William Regal would pick what the stipulation was on a third fall. And of course, everybody was wondering what was underneath the scoreboard at Scotiabank Arena. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But there was a giant black rectangular thing underneath the scoreboard. I wonder what that could have been. Fall number 1, of course, the normal match. I gotta fault Cole's logic here. Why not make the fall, because he had the choice of what stipulation he wanted to go with first. Why not make fall number 1 the no DQ street fight? Have the Undisputed Era interfere, lay out Gargano, get the easy pin, and go up 1-0. I think they were kind of maybe over creative here a little bit with that, but that was just something that crossed my mind a little bit. There could have been an easier way for him to go up 1-0 in this. It turns out he does go up 1-0, but just completely outside the box. But anyways, Gargano gets DQ'd after fall number 1. He uses a steel chair, and I guess he would sacrifice a fall in order to gain an advantage for the street fight, which he did. He practically wore out in between the first fall ending and the second fall beginning, that 1 minute rest period, I guess. He just wore out that chair on Adam Cole. And then fall 2 to street fight, Gargano starts like a house on fire, including a chair chucked right into Adam Cole's face that didn't look very protected at all. It looked like that hurt quite a lot. Then the fight takes to the crowd. Gargano splashes Cole through the barricade. That was awesome. And after a lot of play on the announce sets and out through the crowd and that stuff, we have Gargano eventually locking in the Gargano escape for a tap out win for fall number 2. And so we need to find William Regal to figure out what he comes up with, and oh my god, he comes up with Raven's Clockwork Orange House of Fun. This is what it was. A nice reveal for the steel cage, but it wasn't just any steel cage. It was a hardcore cage with a barbed wire top wrapped around the top. There was all sorts of plunder strapped to the side of the cage, where we're talking tables and chairs and sledgehammers, you name it. All sorts of plunder, as Dusty Rhodes would say. And we were just missing Raven for the Raven's Clockwork Orange House of Fun. Could have been straight out of TNA in 2003, 2004. There was a near fall for Gargano with the DIY kick, which got a huge pop from the faithful in Toronto. Of course, that's where DIY won the NXT tag titles some 2-3 years ago, something like that. Cole almost gets a near fall with the Panama Sunrise. Another Panama Sunrise from the ladder, but only for 2. Cole bites Gargano as Gargano goes for an STO again to try to get a submission win out of it. Just back and forth. You know, and this is where I have in my notes that it is it's shades of Raven's Clockwork Orange House of Fun in TNA. It is. I think that they had a lot of influence with that. I think both guys may have watched that before and decided to go that route or something, but that felt like a TNA era pay-per-view main event, that main event to me. Like it did like that anything can happen and there's no restrictions, so go nuts, you know, and just see what happens. And that's what it felt like. The amount of near falls during this portion is absurd. Gargano grabs bolt cutters and snips off some of the barbed wire on the top, and it's like, okay, what's he doing? He is quickly caught up on top by Adam Cole, who quickly catches with him, and then Gargano just sends a barbed wire right into Cole's face, and both of them just take a dive right from the top of the cage, right through 2 tables underneath that are perched in the ring. And Cole rolls on top, 1, 2, 3. Cole retains, and that third fall, that is a career shortener. To me, it was like watching Angle and Benoit back in 2001 in that big cage match that they had on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I think it was SmackDown that one happened, where just it seemed very. It was the one that was showing in all the "please don't try this at home" highlights and that stuff later on. No, it was Monday Night Raw. It was the main event. That's right. I remember now. It just was just a career shortening match. And man, you look back on that 10 years from now, these poor guys, I'm not sure if they're even going to be walking or not. There's performance art, and then there is just sheer bleeding out for your art. And both these guys were virtually doing it without, not much blood showing, on the face, but on other parts of the body, oh yeah, they got torn up big time. So Undisputed Era keeps the belt that matters, but man, they almost lost a member tonight as Adam Cole almost died in the ring. So it's just, storyline wise, not literally of course, but man, that was crazy. And then at 2 hours and 59 minutes and 55 seconds, the show goes off the air. I've got down for a ranking out of 10. My rating, my take on the card is an 8.5 out of 10. I still have Dunn, Dream, and Strong, the match of the night. And the third fall for Cole and Gargano, if that itself was a match, if it was just a hardcore cage main event where anything goes, that would have been a match of the year candidate out of NXT. As it stands, it'll probably get ranked pretty high, but I think just the weirdness and just the creative from the first 2 matches kind of cloud the influence of the third fall, I guess, or the first 2 falls, I mean. I think it just clouds what it'll be in all the experts' minds and people who loved it. But again, that's just simply my opinion. All right, folks, I got through NXT. I'm going to sit down and do SummerSlam next. But for you guys, that'll be a little bit later on the channel. I don't know what I'm doing with my fingers here, but anyway, whoa. If you liked what you've seen here, please like and share the video. Pass it around with friends, family, whatever. And subscribe. Feel free to. Comment below, too. What did you think of NXT TakeOver Toronto 2019? Is it the best NXT show of the year? Is it up there? Or has the stuff that has happened in Phoenix and Bridgeport and New York earlier this year kind of overclouded your feelings towards it? Leave your comments below. Let me know. I'm Killian Nitro. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. Thanks for tuning in to Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. And we'll see you next time.